All right, welcome back. Today we're going to dig into the story of this small but honestly mighty library that has a pretty funny name. It's a tool that quietly powers some of the smartest features on the devices you use every single day. It's called Annoy, and it's kind of a quiet hero in our digital world. Have you ever wondered how your phone can, instantly pull up all the pictures of your dog or find a photo that looks just like another one, even when you're completely offline, no Wi-Fi, no signal? It feels like magic, right? But it's not. It's the power of on-device vector search, and that's a problem that needs a very specific, very lightweight kind of solution. And that solution for a whole lot of developers actually came from a place you might not expect, the world of music streaming. Yep, this is Annoy, a tool that was built and open sourced by the engineers over at Spotify to solve their own gigantic recommendation challenges. Okay, first off, you gotta love the name. Annoy actually stands for Approximate Nearest Neighbors, oh yeah. Now that first part, Approximate Nearest Neighbors, that's the techie bit. It basically means it's built to find things that are close enough, not necessarily the absolute 100% perfect match. And it makes that trade-off to get incredible speed. And the oh yeah? Well, that's pretty much the feeling you get when it just works. So let's hop in a time machine and go back to 2015. Spotify had this huge problem. They needed a way to suggest the perfect next song for millions and millions of users, and they needed to do it instantly. So they needed something ridiculously fast, but also something that wouldn't eat up a ton of memory. I mean, at their scale, every single megabyte counts. And that was the mission that created Annoy. So how does this clever little library actually pull this off? Well, the core idea is surprisingly elegant, and it actually borrows an analogy straight from nature. It builds what you can think of as a forest of answers. And this right here, this quote gets to the absolute heart of Annoy's philosophy. It is not trying to be a full-blown database, like a Postgres or a MySQL. It does one thing, and it does that one thing really well. It creates a searchable index from your data. It's a specialist, not a generalist. Okay, so try to picture this. Imagine you have millions of points, and these points could be songs or images or really anything else, all just floating in this giant space. What Annoy does is it randomly splits that space in half and then in half again and again, over and over, which creates something called a binary tree. Then it does this a bunch of times, creating a whole forest of these trees. So now, to find a neighbor, it just has to walk down the branches to the most similar region. It's what makes the search so incredibly fast. And using it's incredibly simple. It's really just a three-step process. First, you feed it your data, and it builds that forest of trees we talked about. Second, you save that entire index to just one single file. And third, you can load that file into any application on any machine and just start querying right away. No servers, no network calls, it's just a file. So it's really important to understand where Annoy fits in the grand scheme of things. I mean, in the world of vector search, you have these massive, super powerful database systems. So how does a tiny little library like this stack up against them? Well, when you put them side by side, the difference is just night and day. The giants, things like Phase or Milvus, they require servers, complex setup, orchestration. They're amazing for huge, constantly changing datasets. Annoy, on the other hand, is the definition of simple. We're talking a few lines of code and a single file as the output. It's just built for a totally different job, getting started fast or running on a device that has limited resources. And really, that's the perfect way to think about it. Annoy is the minimalist choice. It's for the developer who needs speed, simplicity, and portability more than anything else. It's just elegant, really, because of all the things it doesn't try to do. But look, just because it's a minimalist tool doesn't mean it has a minimal impact. In fact, it's the total opposite. Its simplicity is exactly what lets it be used in all these places where the bigger, more complex systems just can't go. So where does it really shine? Well, think about that photo search on your phone. That's a perfect use case for a mobile app, or really any AI feature that needs to work without an internet connection. It's also ideal for small embedded systems, like smart devices. And for data scientists? Oh, it's an absolute game changer for fast prototyping, because it lets you test out ideas without having to spin up a whole massive database. So yeah, that's Annoy. It's not the biggest tool out there. It's not the most powerful in the vector search universe. It doesn't have a flashy dashboard or a big marketing budget. It really is the humble hero, a simple, super reliable piece of engineering that quietly powers features that we all use every day. It just works. And that really leaves us with one final thought, doesn't it? In an industry that is so obsessed with scaling up, with building bigger and more complex systems, Annoy is this fantastic reminder of a powerful truth. Sometimes the most elegant, the most effective, and maybe even the smartest solution is the simplest one.